Marriage is important in nearly every culture, but it's interesting how each culture treats it differently. It's arguably considered one of the most important things in life, with society often pressuring people to get married. The pressure to get married in the Italian American culture can have harmful effects on people, including causing one to have a negative view of themselves or causing someone to rush into a marriage when they're not ready or they have not found a suitable partner yet. And both of these consequences will negatively impact their future. As seen in many of our class movies and in different readings, family is central to the Italian American culture, and one typically starts a family with marriage, so there is an intense pressure put on young adults to commit and settle down. In the movie Marty, we see how people surrounding him are constantly pressuring him about marriage. Within the first few scenes, it becomes very apparent to the viewer that Marty's community is heavily pressuring him to get married, and they even go as far as shaming him about it. The two women in the butcher shop, as seen in these scenes, give him the exact same message that he should be ashamed of the fact that all of his brothers and sisters are married and are having kids, yet he remains unmarried. This is just one example of people inquiring about his love life. His mom also worries about him and consults others about how Marty can find a wife. In this scene, Marty gives a small speech about how this pressure gets to him. He's aware of the pressure to get married, and he internalizes these comments and begins to ask himself, why isn't he married? He says, I've been looking for a girl every Saturday night of my life. I'm 34 years old, and I'm tired of looking. Everyone's always telling me, get married, get married, get married. Don't you think I want to get married? As you can see, these comments have gotten to him. He believes it's because of his looks and personality, because of this pressure and judgment he feels from his community, which is built of other Italian Americans. In this scene, Marty's explaining why he feels tired of trying to get a girlfriend. It's clear to the viewer that he feels defeated, impacting his self-esteem in a negative way. In this scene, he calls a woman he met earlier, and some of the first words he uses to describe himself are stocky and heavy set, to remind her of who he is. He could use words like kind, friendly, or if he really wanted to describe his appearance, he could have said black hair and tall, but he chooses to use these two words that don't necessarily align with conventional beauty standards. Both have a negative connotation and are not traditionally positive. As I previously mentioned, he views himself and his appearance negatively due to the pressure to marry. Ironically, Marty is a good person. He takes care of his family, has a solid and steady income, people come to him for advice and help, but people still judge him for not being married. In this next scene, I will show a specific instance of when Marty displays how he has a low self-esteem.
Suit. I'm just a fat little man, a fat, ugly man.
You not ugly.
I'm ugly, I'm ugly, I'm ugly.
Marty.
Ma, leave me alone. Suit. I'm just a...
While in the previous phone call scene, it was more discreet how he viewed himself negatively, this outburst clearly shows how he has developed a low self-esteem from his community, because as I mentioned before, marriage is really the only thing missing from his life. He should be content, but he still feels inadequate. The author also writes, Marty's feelings of inadequateness in the film mostly come from his inability to fulfill societal expectations. He is successful in every aspect except marriage, yet his community around him has made it clear to him that he isn't considered successful until he finds success in love and starts a family. It's clear that the comments from his community have made him feel less than others who have already found love, and thus has negatively impacted his self-esteem. In the movie True Love, we see a relationship doomed from the start. As a viewer, we can see how this relationship is flawed. All the warning signs are there for this relationship. Michael, isn't committed to Donna, and she just wants to get married to fill that societal expectation as a woman. Edvige Gionta writes in her essay, the characters in True Love struggle between the dream of romantic love, which according to cultural norms of their community, must lead to marriage. Donna has learned from society that she must get married to fulfill her purpose as a woman, so she'll go as far as marrying someone who won't prioritize her just so she can achieve the step of marriage. Michael continually does not prioritize Donna, and even on their wedding night, at the reception, he tells Donna about how he wants to go out with his guy friends after their reception is over, which is a humorous moment, but it reflects his lack of commitment to her. Giunta also writes, Donna can see the fulfillment of her destiny and her name, woman, only in marriage. Her cultural heritage has deeply embedded the idea of marriage in her mind. This scene exemplifies outside pressures from Donna's parents. Her parents tell her, a big wedding like this, it's nice, right? Because everyone celebrates and we're all happy, right? The two of them eloped, so they never had a big celebration, and they're pushing their own dream onto her and pressuring her to have the perfect wedding day. So it makes sense that they would want to live out this dream through their daughter because they never had that opportunity. But this is bad for Donna because she's experiencing this pressure from her parents. So she feels like she has to follow through with the wedding, even though Michael has been displaying actions that would make it seem like he is not prioritizing her. In this scene, the wedding planner says, this is your day, and you should feel that anything is possible. And I personally think the director is satirically commenting on the idea of a wedding. They're making fun of the fact that in the United States, society has created such an ordeal out of one's wedding day and how it's supposed to be the most important day and celebration of your life. Society pushes this idea on young adults that getting married should be a dream of theirs, which is why Donna and Michael feel the pressure to get married and ultimately end up following through with this checklist of what is expected at a wedding. They say anything is possible, but that's not necessarily true, and the viewer can see that. Outside voices pressure the couple, leading them to believe that they must get married to appease everyone, instead of appeasing themselves. This pressure causes them to marry the wrong person, which is each other, which negatively affects their future in many ways. In conclusion, as demonstrated in both films, the pressure of marriage negatively affects the lives of these Italian Americans. Donna and Marty are very different characters in many ways and live in completely different eras of time, but it is clear that societal pressure has affected them both negatively.